Zobel, big gun. We're talking about the big gun. Big gun! And the big gun is fun. If this were surfing, it has the forgiving, easy ride of a fun board combined with a big wave, you know, like an 8.0. The 65 feels like an old 8.0 gun I used to have, except this is like a non-aggressive gun. You can bomb with this.
A non-aggressive gun?
It's damp, it's balmy, but it's like catch-free and it's forgiving. And as you can see on the table review down below, you can see this camber profile and the ripsaw in the back and the mellow elliptical camber in the front, you know, going to basically what looks like rocker. You know, in this kind of section, you got all that nose and a little bit of tail, and I just really had a fun time on this. You know, I was kind of switching back and forth between this and the Chairman, and I found that at first I was like starting to like the big gun better, but I love the Chairman better in a carve. I love the big gun better for like surfy turns, but the Chairman's pretty surfy too. And then I was really surprised how well the Chairman caught up with the big gun when it came to riding in powder. It really had, it really just came alive and really surfed, even though it has double ripsaw instead of single ripsaw.
Double ripsaw?
Yeah, a little ripsaw in the ass for the big gun, and a double ripsaw, you know, ripsaw in the head and the ass for the, you know, for the new Chairman. This is the Chairman 18, and out of all the surf series, their Shaper series, I believe they call it.
Yeah, Shaper series.
Shaper series. I think I was the most impressed with the big gun and the Instigator. This 65 felt just right for me. Felt like exactly the kind of board I'd want, and I loved how it just hammered through powder and uneven snow. We had just a, you know, it's late in the season.
One of those thick mammoth dumps.
Yeah, we had a thick, wet, nasty, slidey mammoth dump. But I found a couple turns, and it really doesn't tell you how it's going to be an amazing powder. Like really good waist deep powder like we had a lot this season. We just had a great season. But we got a taste, and I could just tell by the shape, by the camber profile, and you know, the setback on board, all this nose, that this would just be a surfy treat. And even though it's kind of a little gunny and a little pointy, I would have no problem, and had no problems, going through trees. Didn't you feel it was a pretty quick turner?
I did not get to ride that.
Oh, you didn't ride this? Oh, Zobel rode it with me.
Yeah, I was going to
We have the Zobel footage.
Zobel, what do you think?
So,
Zobel?
So the big gun, it looks like a lot of board at first glance. And it is, but it has a lot of versatility around it. And it was pretty pleasant to ride on the groomers and stuff. It was playful. It could go edge to edge really nice. It could go off the groomer, play in the trees. It would flash in the power really nice. It buttered. A little hesitant at first, but that's me learning the board. But then after I started buttering, it was just like it just wanted to play and spin and just do its thing. Pretty easy to pop off of little features and stuff. It's playful, but yet you can really turn off this back foot.
you can drive off the back foot.
Totally.
Yeah.
So BC was lucky enough to take this off the top in a nice little couple inches of powder today, and I'm kind of very jealous of him. But he looked like he held his own, very surfy, very wave-like, which that's kind of the assumption you get when you look at this board. But at the same time, really like this back camber approach because it handles that like little harder conditions a little bit better. Where if you get yourself in a bad spot, like you're not just going to slide out because of reverse camber. You're actually going to be able to hold yourself really well. And there's a little bit up here, early rise. But yeah, so overall it was playful. It was you can play around. Obviously, it's not like a park board by any means, but you can play around on the mountain, butter all you want, and show off your skills on there, as well as then just like hit a couple natural features, hit some pow. Even just take this off some natural, like maybe it's not a pow day, it's not the perfect day, but you could easily have some good turns.
Yeah, it's not just a powder board.
Not just a powder board. It's going to handle on some bumps. It's going to be the playfulness of the reverse camber is going to help you out on some bumps. And again, if you just use the reverse camber to kind of float around, and then your camber to really set it in, it's going to handle really well there. Steeper stuff. The edge holds nice. Yeah, it's just a matter of need more time.
But that's your takeoff one run.
That's my takeoff one run. The big gun.
That's all we had time for Zobel for today.
BC's gonna have a little more experience on this from the steeper run.
I got a lot of time on it.
Right. So overall, I liked it. And one more time. So it's got my one thumb up.
What'd you think about it versus the Maverick and the Instigator?
Oh, that one's tough. I gotta think back. Instigator is magnificent. Really like that board. This one felt definitely bigger.
I liked it better than the Maverick.
Yeah, definitely better than the Maverick. The Maverick, this would have definitely a lot more float than the Maverick would. But the Instigator is just so much fun. It's hard. I'd have to do side by side. That's a tough one.